Just about a year ago, the third operational Dragon cargo ship arrived at the International Space Station carrying its first external payload, the High Definition Earth Viewing, or HDEV experiment. That was installed on the Earth-facing side of the Columbus module's payload facility, and it's been sending beautiful views of planet Earth down to us since then. Recently, my colleague Dan Hewitt spoke with the HDEV project manager, David Horniak, to find out how the project's been doing during its first year on orbit.
So the astronauts on board the International Space Station always doing their best to share the sights and sounds of space with those of us on the ground. There's actually been a payload up there for about a year now that's been giving some of the most spectacular views of planet Earth from about 260 miles above. And that's the High Definition Earth Viewing, or HDEV payload. And I'm joined today by the project manager, Dave Horniak, who's going to tell us a little bit more about it. So real quick, start us off. What is the HDEV payload? What was it designed to do? You know, why is it up there?
HDEV was built in a short schedule in about 9 months to support the SpaceX 3 launch. We wanted to put something up quickly that could provide video of the Earth for the whole world to see what the astronauts see when they look out the window. But we also wanted to use COTS systems and integrate the COTS cameras into this infrastructure to see how well they would survive in the environment, as well as how well they work with the rest of the space infrastructure.
So real quick, COTS, what is?
Commercial off the shelf.
Okay, so just, cameras somebody could go out and buy right now if they wanted to.
That's correct. Most of the system is commercial available. And it's currently mounted to the Earth-facing side of the ESA Columbus module, the European module.
And so they've been up there for, almost a year now. How I know cameras can actually take a little punishment from the environment up there. How have they been holding up, over the last, couple of months?
Yeah, they've done very well, actually, done better than we had anticipated. The only thing that we've seen so far is one pixel dropout out of the nadir-facing camera. That's the camera that points face down toward Earth. And that is an intermittent dropout. It's not even out all the time. So it's actually performed very well.
Okay, and you've also gotten some college students involved in this process, haven't you? What was their role in the whole project?
We did. During operations, we had the University of Bonn in Germany. While the German astronaut Gerst was on board last year, they created what they called the Columbus Eye website. And they used that website and the video straight from HDEV around Germany to support his mission as well as the space station mission throughout not only the public but also to schools, elementary schools and high schools and so on.
And so all of this video, again, being streamed live to the internet. And I mean, what's some of the response you guys have gotten back from people who, when they find this for the first time maybe, and they, they're like, I'm looking at the Earth from the International Space Station. What's some of the response you guys have gotten back?
So it's been a lot of people using it in their own websites. We've heard about a art gallery in New York City that is using it.
Oh, wow.
It's been used on the news numerous times among several people in the news and on the web. So many of them popular personalities have commented how much they love just spending time watching it, and one person even said they spend too much time watching it. It's just seems to be very well received by everybody who gets to see it.
Okay, yeah, you can definitely understand how the astronauts get so drawn to just staring out a window at Earth.
Yes.
Now, you actually brought kind of a little highlight reel. I mean, there's been some really spectacular stuff it's captured, and you brought, some of your favorite clips. Why don't we take a quick look at those, and you can walk us through what we're looking at.
Okay. So this was a sunrise. Space Station sees about 16 sunrises per day as it goes around the Earth every 90 minutes. So when we capture a beautiful sunrise and sunset, it's just great to see them. Usually, like here, you can even see some of the clouds in the low horizon areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely stunning, and it's amazing you're able to get that too.
And so this was in the Midwest, taken in February. Started out around St. Louis area. You can see the Great Lakes, all covered in snow, and the Great Lakes iced over, going over my hometown of Toledo, Ohio. You're starting to see the East Coast coming up on the right side, and the St. Lawrence River beneath, right in the middle. You can clearly see the cities. There's Toronto going through right off Lake Ontario and Montreal, and the moon is rising just to the left of center.
Spectacular.
And this is Florida, where we launched from, taken last month, passing over the Bahamas, and you see the beautiful blue waters. It goes on a little bit further. You see Cuba to the left, one of the things I noticed is that when I started seeing the video, is that like here, this is the Northern Europe, with north is to the left. There's the Baltic on the left, and you're going right over Germany and Poland on the bottom. This is near sunset local time, so it's not as clear, but it's another part of the world. This was the SpaceX 5 release. So the robotic arm is taking SpaceX 5 back in February of this year and moving it around to get it away from space station so they can release it and it could return to Earth. So we are lucky that where we're positioned, we actually get to see a lot of the robotic arm operations as well as the Earth going by. And this was Super Typhoon Mayaska, I think is how it's pronounced. It is taken in the Pacific, Western Pacific. This is on March 31st of this year. At the time this was taken, the winds were about 140 miles per hour. The storm continued on to the west, and a few days after this image went over the Philippines, thankfully not as strong a storm as it was at this time the image was taken. And as it goes away, one of the things I was saying a minute ago, one of the things that I learned was that we're used to seeing maps where you always know where north is. It's always up. That's not always the case here.
Yeah.
You look out the window and sometimes north is left, sometimes it's right, sometimes you just it makes it a little more interesting to try to figure out what you're seeing sometimes.
But I mean, stunning seems nonetheless. So, what's next for HDev? What's on the horizon? How long do you think these cameras are, going to be able to be, spitting this stuff out?
So due to flight schedules, we're going to be on orbit through spring of 17 right now.
Okay.
So as long as the cameras are running, we're going to continue to broadcast to the web. As I mentioned, we are starting to see some pixel drop out, and we're getting to the point where we expect things to start to fail. We will broadcast right up until they do. We don't expect these types of systems to just fail off altogether. We expect them to be a slow degradation.
Yep.
And as they do, we're learning how they degrade as well, so that way we can monitor future systems and see what we're doing in the future, so we know when to replace systems on board.
Okay.
And we've also just signed an agreement with a company called Earthcast, where they are now receiving our video straight, and they're going to integrate it onto their web platform, along with API data such as location and attitude of space station, and geolocated it with maps and things like that, so that users and app developers can integrate this video into what they're doing as well. This is several organizations and individuals have tried to take our video and do apps, develop apps with them before. Using Earthcast will help them to be able to do that.
Okay, fascinating stuff. And again, this is all streamed live on the web. And as always, you can check it out. Here's the website right below, eol.jsc.nasa.gov/HDev. Again, Dave Horniak, the project manager for HDev. Thank you so much for joining me, sharing some of your favorite scenes. I mean, it's stunning stuff, and we hope it keeps going, right up until 2017. It's spectacular.
Thank you.